Why do people love Irvine, California so much? Are they delusional? What is all the hype about Irvine? Well, let's find out right now. Let's get started. So the way that I got the idea for this video is somebody was asking me like, what is so great about Irvine? Like, tell me why it's different than these other places in Orange County. Like, what makes it so unique, even though that doesn't make sense, so unique, former English major here, regardless. Anyways. But there is a reason that Irvine is so popular. And one of the biggest reasons is, so here we are in Orange County. So let's show Orange County, like show where it is.
We'll zoom out a little bit, right?
Yeah, show where Orange County is. So okay, here we are.
LA to the north. Again, not that far north.
So LA to the north.
And then San Diego to the south.
Yeah. And then here we are is the county. And then Irvine is literally smack dab in the middle of it. Of course, now the thing got ruined. But anyways, so now
blew it.
I know. But it is literally smack dab in the middle, and two huge freeways intersect in the middle of it as well. So you're basically right in the middle of everything. It is so convenient in terms of the location. So that's one of the things that makes it a reason why people choose it, because they're like, well, I'm living in Southern California, traffic is horrible. Let me get in the most centrally located spot I can.
Yeah, so a freeway runs through it.
Two freeways, two freeways run through it, for sure.
And if you build it, they will come.
Yes, and then we'll talk about other unique things regarding the location that makes it another reason that people are like, I've got to be in Irvine.
Yeah, okay, so as far as location goes, like you were alluding to, and obviously, look at how centrally located you are, right? So this is kind of more or less Orange County or so, and it's like literally right in the geographic center. So and actually it's slightly like coastal center too, because you're actually super close to the beach, which is really, really nice. So it keeps the weather from being unbearable. I joke when I say unbearable, because honestly, it's still like the best in the world, no matter where you are in Irvine. But I mean, it gets nicer. It even gets nicer as you get closer to the coast. So before we continue, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Sean Dazad.
And I'm Courtney Dazad, and we are licensed real estate agents here in the state of California.
And if you're watching this channel, you might be thinking, wow, Sean, I love Orange County. I love the weather. I love the beaches. I can't wait to move out here now. The problem is I'm not local. I may be out of state, and I may be even out of the country. So I don't know what to do. And I totally get that. That's why you want to reach out to us, so we can have that conversation, find out specifically what you're looking for. And we could be your boots on the ground, where we could do virtual tours of not just the property, but also the neighborhood. So that way, when you come out here, your time is spent super efficiently, because we've already pinpointed those great neighborhoods, through our conversations with you. So what you want to do is you want to give us a call or shoot us a text.
Yes, that number is a cell phone, so you can call us or text us, or you can use WhatsApp if you're outside the country. Now, let's show you another reason that Irvine is so popular. It is the center of commerce for Orange County. Not only that, but it's also very close to the other major centers of commerce. So yeah, you want to talk about these, and then let's talk about also Newport Center, which is right there, another major center of commerce, Santa Ana, and South Coast Metro. And
Anaheim, which is a little bit up there. Good to know.
Yeah, so look at all of these places where there are major headquarters and major job opportunities. This is another reason that people love Irvine, because then you don't have to drive that far to get to these major places of commerce within Orange County.
Yeah, so specifically, where the 405 and 5 freeways meet, which we were mentioning before, like basically right here is the Irvine Spectrum, right? So this is a huge headquarter hub. Like tons of headquarters are located right here. And then also you have University of California, Irvine, which is this one right here, where, so two things. One, it's a top tier university. I think last we checked, it was like 34th in the country, according to U.S. News and World Report. And this is referring to both public and private schools. So this is your Ivy Leagues and all that stuff. Like UC Irvine is really highly rated.
Yeah.
And obviously, because it's a major university, it also does a lot of, you have a lot of jobs at your disposal here as well.
Yeah.
And you do have actually, John Wayne Airport. So this is a huge hub in and of itself. So it's not technically in Irvine's borders, but literally it's on the border. So this is a regional airport. It's technically international because it goes to Canada and Mexico, but really it's mostly domestic flights. But it actually has a very high count of as far as passengers in any given year. So it's a pretty major airport, even though it only has 3 terminals. In fact, It's probably the best airport in all of Southern California. Like, I actually love flying out of John Wayne Airport as opposed to LAX, which, again, that's where you do your international travels. But it is a nightmare out there. Like, it's terrible. Like, John Wayne Airport is so clean, so nice. It's just, it's
so
great.
well run.
Yeah.
So well run.
So because it's an airport, you also have a ton of office buildings and all of this stuff. You actually used to work right next to John Wayne Airport, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then briefly, like South Coast Metro, this is... another, again, tons of offices and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Newport Center area. So this is if you're going to do any nip tucks or if you're going to be doing any like suing.
Yeah.
There's lots of professional jobs.
Services.
Yeah,
For
services
sure.
right here.
Finance there as well. Lots of finance.
Yeah, in Santa Ana, this is more downtown Santa Ana area. This is the seat of the county. So this is where you have like your county courthouse and all your kind of government stuff is right here. And Anaheim is just a little bit up that way.
Well, there's the Anaheim Resort, so that's Disneyland.
Yeah, so not only do you have Disneyland, but you also have, like, again, entertainment stuff, like professional sports teams and all of those stuff. Like, so it's a huge entertainment center. So that's, Anaheim for you. So, so you're right near all this stuff. And again, there's a nice freeway that gets you there, too. It's not like you're taking these side streets. Like, the 5 freeway will get you to Anaheim. The 405 freeway, John Wayne's like right here in like South Coast Metro. And then the only one's not as close is Newport Center, but actually you can take like Jamboree and MacArthur. These are two major roads.
Yeah.
So they're like 10 lanes across. So it's not like even really, it's almost a freeway in and of themselves.
Yeah, and then Irvine itself, so we're giving you other job centers as well, but Irvine itself has the most, jobs in terms of the entire county of Orange, like the most jobs per capita, the most headquarters. Like, it is the center of commerce for Orange County. So if you do have a job in Orange County, it is highly likely that it will be located in Irvine. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, in fact, and a lot of times when people are looking for Irvine and they don't end up like buying in Irvine, they still want to be in relatively close proximity because a lot of times, if they're looking at Irvine, they are working in this Irvine Spectrum area, so they want to be in relatively close proximity, like a relatively short drive, which again, because you have these major freeways running to there, it's pretty easy to do.
Yeah. So now let's talk about another big reason that people love Irvine, and that is the famous Irvine Unified School District. So as of right now, niche.com ranks it the #1 school district in all of Orange County, and I always like to point out that Irvine itself, so according to niche.com, the city of Irvine, is the #4 city in the United States, according to niche.com, with the best public schools in America. So the reputation of the Irvine Unified School District, it precedes itself, and it's a big reason why Irvine gets in the news. It's a reason why people call Sean. It's a reason why people want to live there because of this school district.
Now, having said that, and another thing we should bring up is that this is sprinkled throughout the entire city. See a common theme here. Lots of A's and A pluses. Like, it's just like according to niche.com. So obviously, like, your major like people, like some of the places that people reference is niche.com or greatschools.org. Obviously, at the end of the day, we always recommend that you, obviously, depending on what your kind of what philosophy you want your kid to kind of go through for schooling, you probably want to contact the school administrators, talk to parents of students in those particular schools, just to get a sense of if you feel like it's the right school for you. Because obviously, this is a ranking site. Mm-hmm. We don't know, obviously, we can't speak for what's best for your child, of course.
Yeah, but again, we're just giving you another reason why people, they pay the big bucks to get into Irvine. So again, another reason, this literally just happened. I was wondering the other day, I keep saying, 17th year in a row. Now it's the 18th year in a row. So Irvine is named the safest city in America for the 18th year in a row of a city of its size, population 250,000 or more, according to FBI data. So yeah, that's another reason why people, it's in the news, right? People, they call Sean because they hear about it in the news. Here, this is Yahoo Finance, national news. Yeah, and again,
it's one of those things too where, where just because it's rated super high, which it obviously is, doesn't mean it's again, it's one of those things where I always recommend, no matter what city, what area, if there's properties that you're actually interested in, I always recommend, driving to that neighborhood, let's say, multiple times during the day, various times of the day, and also in the evening, just to make sure it makes sense for you. Because I can't say this is safe for you or this isn't, because I don't know what your threshold is. I mean, my threshold might be higher or lower depending on what yours is. So, this is not something I can really make that decision for you. That's where we recommend, go ahead and check out the data. obviously data sounds pretty good based off what this is, but at the same time, also experience it for yourself, like go out there in different times of the day and evening.
Yeah. And now another reason why people love Irvine is there's so many parks. Irvine has done a very good job. I mean, it's not the only city in Orange County, but it has done a really good job of preserving open space. So the Great Park is an example of it. So we always rag on the Great Park because it was sold to us for something that's different. But in terms of locals, right, like it's a nice local park. There's a lot of stuff that's happening there. And you can see, you know, all the green spots that are all around Irvine, right? These are all just like parks and stuff. We always like to joke that Irvine is the land of 10,000 parks. There's a park on every corner, you know, everywhere, literally everywhere you turn, there is a park. So
yeah, within a very short walking distance. And every time it feels like, well, there should be a park around here. There tends to be. So like that's, again, it's rare when a park isn't in its, you know, where it should be. So they do a fantastic job of making sure that parks, again, are where they logically should be.
Yeah, and we'll talk later in this video about just the planning of Irvine and how it's so convenient. Not only is it convenient in terms of where it's located, but just like when you think there should be a Target, you're like, hey, there's a Target right here. It really is like the Irvine bubble. Like there is the Orange County bubble. People talk about it all the time, the orange bubble. But the Irvine bubble is, I would say, even stronger because it's just so convenient that you really don't need to go, unless you're working farther than 5 minutes from your house. Like you really don't need to go farther than 5 minutes from your house. Like everything is there right at your fingertips. It's so convenient, and I think that's another reason that people really like it.
And also, okay, so like as you're referring to things like, you know, within, you know, close proximity, we should bring up the major shopping destinations, I think.
That's true.
So Irvine actually has a decent amount of them, like in and of itself. So not only is it a huge employment hub, but also it's a massive shopping hub. So Irvine Spectrum itself, what we're bringing up before as far as a huge employment hub, it actually has it's one of the biggest malls in all of Orange County. And so it's an outdoor mall. It's got, honestly, most of the stores you could ever ask for. It's huge. It's got a huge movie theater and all this other stuff. And then on top of that, you also have like the Irvine Marketplace right here. So it's in this vicinity right over here. So you have that at your disposal as well. And then on top of that, you have stuff that's right next to John Wayne Airport. Honestly, right next to that is South Coast Plaza. So South Coast Plaza is one of these destination malls. So it's not technically in Irvine, but it's like basically bordering Irvine in itself. It is one of my favorite shopping destinations in all of the world, honestly. It's a fantastic mall, and then it offers everything. Like, you know, so you have like your Forever 21s and Gaps on one end, and then you have like Hermes, Neiman Marcus, and Saks Fifth Avenue on the other. So you just kind of have such a variety. So the shopping here, as far as you obviously have strip malls all over the place, but then your big shopping spots are all over, and you have a Costco here, and Costco's right around here all over the place too, which is obviously huge in my book.
Yes, for sure.
And then lastly, I would say that, you know, as far as, again, we've gone into so much detail. We didn't want to make this map like kind of totally similar overlap as to some of our other videos. This is kind of just more showing you kind of like all the different aspects of what Irvine has to offer. But also as far as weather and that kind of stuff is concerned, you are like, you know, depending on where you are in Irvine, you can have absolutely fantastic weather, and then weather that's good but not as great, right? So basically, as you get on the coastal side of the 405 freeway, weather's fantastic. I mean, it's not, you know, you're super close to Newport Beach, and in fact, like the toll road, the 73 freeway is what separates Irvine from Newport here, and it's you know, again, fantastic weather. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, Sean and I went to UC Irvine, and we were runners there, and we ran many times from Newport
once or twice.
From Newport to Irvine and vice versa. So yeah, you are definitely quite close to the beach as well. Now, another thing that makes Irvine such a desirable place to live is just how aesthetically pleasing to the eye that it is, how well planned it is.
Yeah, I mean, so basically, obviously, so I'm from Orange County originally, Courtney's from San Diego, and it's funny because, like, you know, when we find ourselves out in LA, it's really different. Like, the orange bubble is real. And Irvine within that orange bubble is even more, you know, interesting. More of a bubble. And so it's funny because, like, you know, when you go out to LA or whatever, some nice neighborhoods. I'm not talking about, you know, like some sketchy areas. I'm talking about like nice areas in LA. And it never feels like it's that nice to me. I don't,
It doesn't
and again,
look that nice.
Yeah, I guess, and it's weird. Yeah, exactly. And that,
just because it's old, right? It just has this like the streets are smaller.
Yeah, they're narrow. They're always like being worked on, and like they have little kinks in them. They don't like have this nice smooth flow to them. It just feels like the streets were an afterthought. And again, it's, you can see that's like the byproduct of just organic growth, right? Like, and a lot of this stuff was built when realistically, like cars weren't even really a thing yet.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really that big of a deal to have nice smooth thoroughfares. Not that LA doesn't have any of it. It's just that you see it everywhere in Orange County in particular, also in Irvine, of course.
Yeah, it's a lot just, you know, how well planned and how well manicured Irvine is. It's something that I think that we take for granted, just like how nice it is. It just looks nice. Like the trees are nice, like the bushes are well manicured. The streets are nice and wide, and you know, there's not that many cracks in it. It's just like everything is nice.
Yeah, you don't get these crazy potholes. Not to say they don't exist, right? I'm just saying like it's just that the streets are pretty smooth. Like the traffic runs really smoothly. In fact, like we joke about the street called Culver that's within Irvine, that it's like a time portal. It seems like you actually time reverses as you're driving down and moves so smoothly. But yeah, it's just one of those weird things where like, again, you could just see where Irvine has that was all like, you know, it was all kind of well thought out, right? Like they go, okay, this area is residential. This is commercial / retail or office space kind of thing. There just seems to be a rhyme and reason to it. Whereas in LA, it's kind of like throw it all together and, you know, that's where everything is. Yeah. And again, I get it. It's just like, obviously it's an older area. It's just that Irvine, a lot of the stuff was really built in the 1970s and up. By the time you had more consistent building standards, and again, cars were obviously very much a mainstay by that point. So they obviously had the ability to just see at present what was going on, and they could just plan the city accordingly.
Yeah, like I have a friend, she's from Wisconsin, where, you know, the part where she's from, there's older stuff. It's just like older buildings, more like industrial. And she says that she just loves Irvine and she just drives around Irvine because it's so pretty and nice. And I guess it's just like we just take it for granted when you don't really think about that. And then, you know, people that are from other parts of the country, they just really make note of it more than, you know, we would, I would say.
Exactly. We kind of take it for granted, right? So like when I'm showing clients that are, you know, from a different area, even from LA, they're kind of like taken aback by like how just kind of generally like smooth and nice and just well thought out things are. And also Irvine's in that nice little sweet spot too, where of course you do have some new construction, but like a lot of it's already, you know, again, by the 1970s, everything is pretty mature by this point. And what's interesting is that like all the trees are very mature, like, you know, they're very full trees and stuff like that. I have had clients reach out saying, you know, I don't want to be in a brand new construction because I don't want to just deal with twigs as a tree. Like it's just so newly built. So, and you can appreciate that the landscape, you know, like having just everything kind of mature and nice by this point. It's just like, again, it's that sweet spot again. It's just kind of like Irvine really offers that. But of course, if you want something brand new, Irvine does have that too.
Yeah, and then a lot of what we're talking about here, it's not just in Irvine. There are many places, not only in South County, which kind of like copies Irvine, but also North County as well, that offers a lot of what Irvine has to offer. Like, I know Sean, sometimes people will ask him, you know, do you just do Irvine? It's like, no, that's what people are looking for. It's the YouTube algorithm, right? That's what people are looking for. That's what they're typing in. So that's how they find us, right?
In fact, a lot of times, you know, people are reaching out for Irvine. And I have like several cities, depending on what their feedback I'm getting, as far as, hey, you know, here's some alternatives you may want to consider. Because again, Irvine, what they think of it may not be the perfect place for them, whereas these other cities that are kind of in the vicinity of really do check off more boxes at the end of the day. And remember, we are licensed realtors here in the state of California. So as much as we love making these videos, what we love more is to help you with your real estate needs. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, what you want to do is you want to give us a call or shoot us a text.
Yes, that number is a cell phone, so you can call us or text us, or you can use WhatsApp if you're outside the country.